In the quiet village of Kalinaw, a place untouched by modern noise, the air carries stories heavier than silence. Stories that drift in the wind, stories you don't hear in daylight. But when the sun sets and the sky turns black, the wind begins to whistle. And if you're foolish enough to whistle back, you'll never see the morning again. They call it Singsot, the whistle. And this is the story of the last time it answered. It started like many horror stories do, with someone who didn't believe. His name was Rico. 17, loud, funny, athletic. He was the kind of kid who didn't fear anything, especially not stories told by wrinkled old men, half asleep in rocking chairs. To him, the whistling ghost was just that, a story. That evening, after a late-night basketball game at the covered court, Rico walked home alone. The wind had picked up, the streetlights flickered. But he wasn't afraid. He was whistling. He liked to do that. Whistle while walking. Said it calmed him. But that night, someone, or something, whistled back. Rico stopped. He chuckled. "Nice one, Jomar," he probably muttered to himself. He whistled again, same tune, just louder. Still thinking it was a friend messing with him, he looked around. But the road behind him was empty. The trees ahead swayed. And that's when he heard it. Not a whistle this time, but breathing. Right behind him. He turned. Then, nothing. No one saw Rico again. All they found were his slippers by the riverbank the next morning, as if he stepped out of them and vanished into the air. After Rico's disappearance, the whole barangay buzzed with talk. Some said he drowned, some blamed rebels. But the elders, they knew better. They said Rico had answered the wind. It wasn't the first time someone had disappeared after a whistle. There were stories, old ones, of children going missing, of people hearing familiar voices calling them from the woods, only to never return. They said the creature that took them was called Mimok. A ghost, a demon, no one knew. But everyone agreed on one thing: never, ever, answer the whistle. But teens are rarely good at listening. Laura was different from most girls in the village. Smart, brave, stubborn. She and a few friends, Mike, Anna, and her cousin Joel, decided to find out what really happened to Rico. They were convinced it was a prank, or maybe a wild animal. So one Friday night they snuck out. They brought flashlights, snacks, a portable speaker. It was more camping than ghost hunt. As they entered the forest trail, Mike did the unthinkable. He whistled. Then they waited. Nothing. He whistled again. Laura froze. That wasn't from any of them. Then came the voice. "Laura, come here." It was Rico's voice. Laura dropped her flashlight. The beam swung wildly, catching trees, shadows, and something pale. Too tall, too thin, not human. Then everything went black. When Laura woke up, she was alone in the forest. No Mike, no Anna, no Joel. Her phone was dead. The sky was still dark, but the wind was whistling, and she knew she couldn't stay. She ran. Branches scratched her face. Something chased her, but not with footsteps. Number It followed her through sound. "Help me, please. Laura!" The Mimok was mimicking her. She ran all the way to the mountains, to the only person left who might understand. Mang Isko lived in a hut beyond the hills. Once a healer, now half-blind and silent, the villagers called him crazy. But Laura found him, and when she told him what she heard, the whistles, the voices, he didn't laugh. He cried. The creature, he said, was born from sorrow, from souls who died without last words. Now it seeks to speak, by stealing your voice. He opened an old journal. Inside, sketches of the Mimok, pale, mouth wide open, like screaming silently. Eyes empty. It can only enter when you respond, he warned. The whistle is an invitation. A door. Lara asked how to stop it. He said, you must not fear its voice. You must silence it with your own. That night they returned to the forest. Salt lines, candles, old chants. The Mimok was waiting. It whistled. Lara stayed silent. It whistled again, louder. Then it spoke, using her mother's voice. Neck, come home, I'm waiting for you. Tears ran down her face. She wanted to answer, but she didn't. She stepped forward and began to hum. A tune her Lola used to sing to her, a lullaby. The Mimok screamed. It couldn't mimic music, only voices, only whistles. Mangisko finished the chant. There was a blinding flash. Then, silence. The wind stopped. The voice was gone. Lara was never the same again. She moved far from Kalinaw, never spoke about what happened, never whistled again. The others, Mike, Anna, Joel, they were never found. The forest swallowed them. And to this day, villagers say, if you walk near the trees at dusk, you might hear your name whispered by the wind. You might hear your voice, crying for help. You might even hear a whistle. So if you ever visit a place like Kalinaw, and the wind whistles to you in the dark, whatever you do, don't answer, don't turn around, and never, ever whistle back. And that was the story of Singsot. A whisper in the dark, a voice that isn't yours, a choice that can never be undone. They say, once you've heard it, you're never truly alone again. So tonight, if you hear a faint whistle outside your window, don't answer, don't turn around, and whatever you do, never whistle back. If this story sent chills down your spine, leave a like. Share it with someone brave enough to listen at night. And don't forget to subscribe for more horror stories, real urban legends, and spine-tingling tales every week. This is only in the Pilipins TV. And remember, the shadows are watching, the wind is listening, and some stories don't end with silence.
Fingers trace the tape.